Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode for Total War Attila. I'm playing a modification called Medieval Kingdoms. Right now we're about to fight the Welsh in one major battle. We're a few years past due for the historical time period of, good old Edward putting down the actual Welsh rebellion. But here we are, we're getting ready now, and that is all that really matters. They have a lot of men, they have a lot of knights too. Not only that, they have mounted sergeants and 2 generals, and that will make the battle very difficult. My spear militia puts me at a huge handicap. They're there as fodder, and I did not anticipate them having so many good units. I thought maybe there would be a few less, but no, they have a lot of good units, and because of that, we're going to have a pretty tough time. But let's go look at what we have over here. I'm going to form a longer line with my swordsmen in the very front. They have a shield wall, which can be used to block a lot of missile attacks, and that works out quite well for me. My archers will, of course, be behind with flaming shot. I like that quite a bit for taking out horsemen. There they are right now. And there's a lot of spear militia. My bill sergeants I'll put on my flanks too, or maybe like one in the middle to support the middle of my formation in case they try to break through. And we'll just see where that all goes in just a moment. Not too bad though. We've had a good campaign so far, but it's only the very beginning and there's a lot more to it that needs to come out. We're going to begin the battle right now. I'm going to let my horsemen stay in the back, that way they can react to any situation that pops up.
The enemy draws near.
Okay, we're going to move back. I gave it a little bit of thought for just a brief moment. I was like, hold on, they're attacking me. That doesn't always happen. I might as well defend, and that is a better idea. So I'm going to let them come attack me. I'll be in the woods just a bit with a few men. I'm going to let my archers fire out their volleys. We're going to catch a few trees on fire, which isn't a bad thing. Hopefully it'll freak them out just a bit. I would like that quite a bit. And there's my many men of England. Do you think they knew that one day their little kingdom would become a global empire? Nah, they're not that clairvoyant. I just need them to win the battle for me. When you think about it, it's like the accumulation of victories that would see them at that end goal. If it was a goal. No, it just happened to be. But yeah, Edward I was actually a really good king for the most part for the time period. Reformed a lot of laws. I mean, keep in mind this is after the Magna Carta was signed and a lot of things are going on to diminish the power of a king. Not that they weren't still powerful, but not as powerful as they once were. You know, you had that Second Baron's Rebellion led by Simon de Montfort, which put his father in a really bad place. I mean, being like second in power to a council of nobles headed by Montfort wouldn't feel very good.
The enemy has discovered our hidden.
Here they come right now. We're going to let our volleys smack upon their horsemen, who have no chance, and they'll end up breaking and falling apart quickly. The Welsh horsemen are just not going to be able to do too well. They were trying to smash right through me, but the English wall is too powerful, and no one will break through. Well, except for that one guy, but he doesn't count. We're going to ignore him. There goes the volleys right now. I'm going to use one group of mounted sergeants right now to flank them. Try to catch them in that battle. Try to kill other horsemen quickly is really kind of a weird thing. You can get a good charge, you can get a good attack, and like they'll fall apart quickly, but at times they won't. They'll be actually quite difficult to break through, which is really kind of unfortunate. But let's get 2 horsemen over there and 2 more over here. We want to parse them out. That way we can address any situation that crops up. Yeah, they're still pushing through. Those 2 knight groups are going to be devastating for me though. They're very tough to kill. They're very sturdy. And here we go right now. I'm going to move up my men to flank just a bit. My horsemen are moving out. I need to hurry up. I like to zoom in, but I need to handle the battle before I look at all the pretty lights and blood. Here we come. Alright. Let's charge in over here. Go after a few archers in the rear too. That way they're not continuing their volleys upon my formations and killing them. I want only my own archers to be attacking them. Here comes a knightly charge, a very beautiful one. And done. That was a really good charge. With every charge of my leader, hopefully over 100 will fall. Or close to it. Close to it works too. Yeah, look at that. They're encountering me with their leader. I'll be there for a long time. At the very least, I do have him bound up. But they do have foot knights, and that's going to make it difficult for me to break through quickly. I'm going to use my archers to try to focus on this general unit. If I can kill that general unit early on, it's one less big enemy to worry about. It's just all in all a difficult scenario. I got to keep on moving back where I can. Look at them drop. I love watching the kills in the lower left-hand corner just fly up whenever I charge right into them. Feels good. Feels powerful. I'm going to bring in more men to reinforce the middle of my line. Here comes more of my horsemen. 3 mounted sergeants, 2 going after another mounted sergeant group. Got my knights over here who need to charge back in, going after more of these footmen. Yeah, that really isn't too bad though. As long as we can hold the line without losing too many, we'll be able to do a lot more damage. I'm destroying all their horsemen, but of course I need to eliminate their swordsmen too, who are outclassing me only because we're entirely outnumbered, which is unfortunate. There we go. Alright, now that we have all of that handled, let's go pop around the map and make sure that our knights are moving out. They always lose a few whenever they pull back. I think there's like a bonus to them whenever they turn their back and relocate, so they end up losing a few, but because they do so much damage, it's definitely worthwhile for them to charge it, even if they don't like crash them completely during that type of situation. Oh yeah, there's like a battle. There's the Battle of Luz, and this is a pretty interesting battle about Edward I, who was imprisoned. So, Edward was given the command of his father's right wing of his army, and he did a great job at smashing through the opposing flank of Montfort's army. But his pursuit was a little bit too crazy, and by the time he got back to the battlefield, Montfort had broken his father's remaining forces, and Edward chose to go into captivity with his dad. It looks like they had a pretty good relationship, so they were pretty close. He was like, "Hey, Dad, you know what? You lost, I did it, but I'll be in prison with you. Why not?" And then that meant that you had Montfort having both the king and prince in captivity, which is quite a bit of power. You have the rule of the king probably weakening during this period of time. I mean, if you had some type of different culture of different group who didn't really want to be part of your kingdom or your control, this might be the right time to break free. I mean, your king's in prison. What's he gonna do about it? Anyway, Edward would eventually be given a chance to go hunting, and he just kind of rode away. He was like, you know what? I'm out of here. And so he would get away from the fortress of Montgomery. And there's like a little bit of a myth or an idea, a rumor, that he cheekily waved goodbye to his captors, and that's pretty funny. I mean, that kind of defines what we know to be Edward I. And so he would get away, and he raised a large army, largely, I believe, from the Marcher Lords who had gotten away from the Battle of Luz, and then he completely outsmarted Montfort. And it's a pretty good example of medieval strategy, too. You had 2 converging Montfort armies. Edward turned in, surprised the first one, destroying much of it. He then repositioned his army to block the next march of Simon. All in all, not really too shabby for a prince, I believe. The guy was pretty talented at what he did, especially when you compare him to his father, who didn't really have as many merits to chalk up, but at the very least, I mean, they appeared to have a pretty good relationship. Why else would he go into captivity with his father? But here we go right now. My battle is really an interesting one. It's barely in my favor. I still have enough men to hold on. We're charging in right now. Gotta be a little bit more decisive in the future. There's my archers. I'm trying to get them to focus on one group of swordsmen right now to try to break them. If they break, then I'll be able to target another group. Over here is where we have a lot more going on. My knights are still attacking so many. We can look at their sheer amount of kills. My king has killed hundreds already. And there they go, another charge into another group of infantry, savaging them from behind. It's been a pretty interesting battle. I'm glad I did save it for our next part here. It's a very good beginning to our battle. Yeah, I'm trying to get over here to actually surround and kill their leader. That is really taking a lot of time too. We've crushed a lot of their army now. I'm sure a few of them might come back. But let's keep on moving. Yeah, I could have my knights break through the remnants of what they have nearby. I will zoom in and have a good view of the fight. There's not a lot of Welshmen left right now. But yeah, I can always talk a little bit more about Edward in the future if all of you want me to, or other historical tidbits. I don't know as much as I used to. I used to read a lot more about the time period, but I do recall the more interesting figures that I picked up on. Usually when I read about history now, it's more about cause and effect for me. Economic factors and cultural shifts and things like that that I have most of my interest in. As far as like individual tactics, maybe weaponry, I don't know as much about that because I mean, I find it interesting, but not as interesting as the overall concept of what was going on. I see that as like a very personal thing. I just like to learn about the overarching themes of what was going on and how it plays on a world stage. That to me is a lot more important. I'm not saying that the other stuff it isn't fun, but that to me is a lot more important. At least on a historical, personal level. I was actually talking to my friends about that. I was like, well, I don't know as much about the individual things as all of you do. As far as like what sword they use, how they used it, or things like that. But it's just not in my repertoire of interest. Moving around, taking out a few more of them. I want to chase down the ones who are fleeing to make sure they're either shattered or they're just not going to come back with a substantial amount of men. If we beat them now, we don't have to deal with them in the future. And now we've won the battle, so we'll probably chase after a few of them. There's enough for me to chase after, like over there, that group of, not mounted sergeants, but bow sergeants. Bow militia? Whatever they are, they've got to go. Let's get my formation in order right now. We've got to be professional at any point. And now I'll have all my mounted sergeants go after the remnants of their people. We can chase on as many as we can and prevent them from joining in a future battle where they could really damage us. Though I think I took out the majority. I mean, look at the sheer carnage here, which is one of my favorite parts about Total War games, is looking at the carnage after a battle. And it looks really good. You have all the contrasts of color showing you who fell where. Look at the kills on my knight. Or not just my knight, my knightly group. Yeah. Over 600, that's all that we needed. You can look at our losses. We sure did lose a lot. We had over 4,000 men. But that is okay. We were meant to lose a lot. We did lose one group entirely. Actually, two of them. I just took a very quick glance at that. they pulled back, so I'll probably pull back, go recruit more. I do have another army that can move in, and that isn't an issue. I would go pursue them, but I like to play it safe. More so than I should, but that's just going to be my choice right now. What am I going to pick up, though? I mean, I do need to get rid of all of them. They're terrible. They did not help me win that battle at all. A few more Bill Sergeants wouldn't hurt. There's a few Sergeants. And then one of you. Yeah, having a siege engine is definitely great. Really, I think it's because I want to use that siege engine in battle, if I can. Time to begin building a lot of buildings. We have quite a few things that we can choose from, but what will really be, you know, beneficial for what I need right now? Making more money is of a great interest to me, and I definitely want to do that. Yeah, we can build in quite a few locations, and because I have so much money, it's just going to help me avalanche into having more money, or snowball into having more money in the future as well. I like to work on my financial situation quite a bit, especially in Attila. I've done that quite a bit where I'll like sit back and just make a lot of money. I don't need another governor. Just wanted to make sure. I had to go check. Yeah, Castile likes to kind of move around like that. They're kind of goofy. We only have one more little bit of the Welsh to conquer. Oh, good. Neighboring relations improve. It looks like they're gonna like me a bit more, which will prevent war while I'm fighting up here and subjugating other people, like the Irish and Scottish. It looks like I'll be falling upon the Scottish next, or maybe the Irish. I think I'll have to talk about that at the very end, where we'll discuss about what target that I'll go after. I don't actually quite know which target I want to go after just yet. I'll have a better idea in a little while. Now we're picking up a few governor abilities, giving them more authority. I've always enjoyed that governor mechanic. I do wish it was present over in Warhammer Total War as well. There's a lot of fun things they add in that they end up taking out. Alright, let's end that turn 2.
We come to you in strength.
Let's look at that real quick. A peace treaty. I mean, if you'll join my empire, sure. But you don't want to do that. And because of that, you don't get anything. You'll get a sword and maybe a charge or two, but that's all you get. Declare war. Not right now. Not right now. It looks like my little vassal took them over. I didn't think they would be able to pull that off, but they were able to pull that off. That is okay. I still get money because of trade. And trade is very good around here, so I'm not too worried about it. I still do own 2 more locations in Wales, and that feels pretty good. They're not every location as I did previously want, but now we can begin to build up a little bit. I want to get a new army. I have Call of Vassals, which means that I'll be able to build a tier 2 barracks, which means that I'll be able to reform my army and build a lot more knights. Not build. They're not bionic men that I know of. To build or recruit knights. That way I can have an easier time breaking through the Scots up north, who probably also have better units too. So I've got to adapt and grow with all of that, or I'm not going to get very far. I'm going to relocate my units over here to the east, to the Midlands, to Mercia. Let's go look around real quick at what we need to do. Yeah, I could build a farm. More food and more money isn't a bad thing. I mean, in the back of my head, part of me would like to hold on to the lands in France in case I do want to invade France later on, and I'm sure I will. But not only that, It's just that I have the money to hold on to them. So maybe I can. I could even build a third army to go down there. But the idea is, are they really worthwhile for that type of investment? I wouldn't be able to really expand much more. So, I mean, that's another idea. I can always get rid of an army that I recruit. It's only a waste of a little bit of money when I already have a lot of money. And I don't even know what to do with it all. Else I'd afford it. Ireland wants a non-aggression pact, but I can't really pick that up in case I do want to attack them. I don't know which faction I'll be attacking yet. But I want to be able to have that openness of making a choice whenever I want to make that choice, not when they want to. Okay, we need another building again. Eventually I'll get into the groove of what I need to build in every location. There's a lot more going on here than there are in a lot of the more recent Total War games, so I do have to look at them a little bit closer. Looks like squalor's not really an issue for whatever reason. Yeah, I just wanted to know how far I could go if I wanted to go near Ireland immediately. Like where I could potentially attack. But they actually had a lot of armies by the shore, so I mean I would have to land immediately and take over a town. Maybe a coastal invasion or something. I would end up losing a lot of men. Let's go look through here real quick and see if there's anyone that we can have a diplomatic tie with. Not really too many that I need to worry about, so I think we're pretty good on that front. They would not like to join my empire. It's really unfortunate. Yorkshire, come on. Get over here. The Earl of York.
We are not a friend for the new moon and an
Oh look, still, they would like a defensive alliance. I mean, they're a major power. Stronger than I am. I wouldn't mind having that type of friend. We could forge strong Spanish-English ties and not have to worry about them. Not that I want their lands. I mean, France is closer. I would like their lands first. Maybe I'll dip into Europe a bit more. Maybe I could go take Roma. That's another idea. Take control of the Catholic Church at its very root and heart. Yeah, look at that. Another tiny rebellion. I don't know if they ever get bigger over there in France, but I mean, I could build up over there and hold them. It wouldn't be that difficult, I don't think. But only if I wanted to do that. I mean, I don't have to do that. Rebellion, enemy killed in battle. What skills do I want for you, General? There we go. Upkeep will go down for your horsemen. Not that I need the money, but I'll take it anyway. And that too. Supply. I mean, 2% replenishment is not much. But for whatever reason, I'll take that too. We can even upgrade our soldiers right now, but I mean, I'm going to have to resituate my army. I want to reform them and add in more knights. I'll have to choose what I want to get rid of. With my knights, I'll be able to do a lot more. They have a lot of staying power. Their stats aren't really that much better, but I don't know like what's been tweaked to where they just stay in battle a lot longer. Because their stats are really not that much better than what I have right now for my sergeants. I thought it'd be like a dramatic change, but not really. Non-aggression pact again. Yeah, they're really trying to push it. They're like, you know what? We don't want to be here. We don't want you to invade us, but I'm going to invade them. They don't really have a choice in the matter. They wish they did, but no choice for them. Not today. I'm a busy conqueror. Then I suppose people will learn quickly why Edward was called the Hammer of the Scots. Not because, you know, he did a nice hammer time dance and people were unable to touch this. That wasn't why. But there's a lot of fun history here, hundreds of years of it. I definitely want to try out the different factions over time, if everyone is interested in that. Or I can talk a little bit about history that I have either learned or already know about that time period, the leaders, and whatever else. I remember as a kid, there's picture books that would show you like the daily life of a medieval town or a Roman town. Those are pretty cool. The art. Yeah. I would even like those now. I don't remember what they were called. I feel like they were part of a series where they would just show a diagram, and not really a diagram, but they would like cut a ship in half and then show you each individual part, the people in it, their roles, and I think it's a pretty good way to learn about that stuff. I haven't looked at it in so long that I have forgotten it, but a good way to learn. Yeah, we're gonna have to fortify, or we'll lose men due to attrition during the winter. Yeah, here's where I'm just kind of looking at their stats again. It's like, huh, they're not too different. I don't know how to feel about that. Back and forth. Melee defense, armor, health. It's really just not a dramatic change. I mean, maybe that little bit of a boost really does make a dramatic change. I don't know. It appears to be so. Then again, whenever you're playing on a harder difficulty, your foes are buffed up. So, I mean, that could be why they were able to hold for so long. They're buffed up inherently to where you just have an issue dealing with them. But yeah, we can look at the melee attack, melee damage, charge bonus, and all of that of our 2 units here, the Mounted Sergeants and English Knights, where it's really just not too different. But I have all that money, so I might as well bring them in. Yeah, we're going to bring in as many as we can. I want that line to do well and to hold well. I don't know what we'll be fighting up north, and I wonder if there's more units than what I have right now. I'm hoping there are, but I don't know if there are. All in due time, we shall find out. Yeah, we'll pick up a few knights, maybe 2 variants of their types right now. Expand a few more. Grab more foot knights. And I do not want a governor. They can leave me alone with that. That little ship has got to go away. Eventually, I'm going to have to turn things off to where we won't have to worry about watching our allies or enemies move on the map. I mean, it can be useful, but I find it more time consuming than anything else. If they're near me, I can go look at them.
The Lord speaks to me. How may I be of assistance?
Thirsty for battle.
Yeah, we need to upgrade everyone. Everyone's going to be a little bit stronger.
How can I help?
Here's that transitionary phase that you often get to until the war where you have to prep up. You could keep on going, but you might have a much harder time if you do that, whereas if you take time to prepare, maybe you'll be stronger. Though over time your enemies can be stronger too, so I mean that can be a double-edged blade. They're building up a bit of an army. I'm going to try to build one up, I think. We've held on to it forever. It wouldn't be worth the money, but it might be interesting to try to. As I balloon up in Scotland and Ireland, I'll have a lot more money to pour into those lands down there if I ever want to begin a war with France.
How can I help?
Which would probably come next. I mean, I don't know who else I would be fighting beyond France after the Scottish or the Irish. Another turnover, though. We've gotten pretty far. Another building to pick up. A guardhouse. Chapel. A muster hall. I'm already working on a barracks, so I'm not too concerned about that. I only really need one. But at the very end, I'll begin to present a question to all of you to answer as my advisory war council. And I think that'll be a lot of fun. Having all of you help me know where to go. Or to give me an idea on why you think it's a good idea for me to set out on any plan. Yeah, I'll give you that. More authority is never a bad thing, not for a governor or a leader. Let's end that turn too. So real quick, let's go over what we need to discuss. We need to figure out whether we want to go after Ireland or Scotland. If you have an idea on which one I should go after first, let me know down below. Here's a bit of a change for us though. We do have a treaty with Scotland, but not the Irish. But I can always either wait or get ready and break that preemptively, and then I'll have to wait a few turns in order for me to be ready to go after them. But again, let me know which faction you think I should go after, which one would be better for me to take early on, and how I should build my armies too. I'm sure a lot of you know a little bit more about the time period than I do, and because of that, you can give me a lot of valuable knowledge, or what you think would just be good in general. Provide your reasoning and logic, and I will definitely read your comments as I often do, but keep in mind you are my War Advisory Council, and that is what all of you are here for. Oh, and to enjoy yourselves too. If you have any good name for my armies too, let me know, and I can always rename my armies, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. But thank you for watching, look forward to more content, and as always, until then.